I got 8.
Like Spencer or Spence?
Spence.
Damn.
Spence Jr. You haven't seen the
I
video?
need to change the title on this,
This
but
one?
it should be live,
Okay.
Lily.
Oh, we are?
Character?
Against the Ropes podcast.
Well, went back against the rope. He's desperately trying to
Against the
climb
ropes,
up.
number one.
Ali won't extend himself while out against the rope. But Ali smells blood.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Against the Ropes podcast. I am Gio Garcia. I'm alongside Christian Mosqueda and Lily from Xicana Boxing. Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Woo.
We are back in the building, and we have a special guest, as you guys see there at the center of your screen, joining us from Florida, man. Renowned boxing trainer, Mr. Manny Robles.
Hey.
Woo.
How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Thank you for having me.
Doing great. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me, guys.
Awesome. I know people are wondering like, what's going on in Florida? Whose fight are you there to handle? If you can share with the people, the listeners that are tuning in, Manny.
Well, I'm actually here to try to sneak into the Laker game tomorrow night. This is a heat. No, I'm actually here in Orlando. We have a fight, as a matter of fact, for tomorrow night. I have a kid out here, Saul Sanchez, for tomorrow. We got tomorrow's main event out here for Tito Zavala, the promoter.
Hey, okay, nice.
Yeah.
For the people that don't know Saul, tell us a little bit about him, his fighting style, his record. What's something about this young man that differentiates him from other fighters?
Saul Sanchez is he's out of the San Fernando Valley, out of Pacoima. He's an aggressive fighter that I've worked with him in the past. Let me tell you a little bit about him. So I initially worked with him in the past as an amateur, and then when he turned pro, but then he went to Joel Diaz to work with Joel Diaz, and everybody knows Joel Diaz, of course, from Indio. And then I got a call from him earlier this year that he wanted to come back and work with me again. So he did. He came back. I spoke to Joel. Joel and I are cool. We're good friends. Told him that the kid wanted to come back, and so now he's back, and now this is our first fight back together. So it's been a while, but he's an aggressive, come forward fighter. But I'm trying to work with them and make him more of a not to take away from his style, because he's already an aggressive fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to take away from that, but trying to work on his overall skills, work on his defense, his footwork, counter punching, being aggressive. As I always say, it's about being aggressive, but it's about having controlled aggression, and being able to think inside the ring. So anyway, that's kind of like who Saul Sanchez is.
Hey, okay.
Manny, you talk about working with Saul, and kind of not changing his style because I'm more familiar with him and I know that he is indeed very aggressive. You don't want to change his style, just kind of fix a couple things here and there. Uh, a former fighter of yours who's taking a lot of criticism lately for that same thing, changing his style, is Oscar Valdez. A lot of people feel like that change to Eddie Reynoso was not necessarily beneficial because it did change his style too much. Any thoughts on that?
No, well, I spoke to Oscar. As a matter of fact, I spoke to him about, I don't know, about 3 weeks ago or so. He came to visit me. He was at my house. He's a good friend of mine. You know, we had Estrellita was there, myself and some friends were just hanging out, having a little barbecue and whatnot. And Oscar was there. He came to visit and he told me that he was fighting Berchelt. So, you know, I love Oscar. Oscar's a good friend of mine. We have a lot of history. We made history together, as you all know. Try to give him some pointers as to the fight and, you know, as to what to do. I don't want to step on Eddie Reynoso's toes or anything like that, but I did give him some advice as to how to approach the fight. And, you know, I mean, he is who he is. And you know, with Eddie, I don't want to sit here and you know, say anything negative or anything that might go off the wrong way. You know what I mean? I mean, you're all seeing the same thing everyone else is seeing. You know what I mean? It's not working. He's trying to make him perhaps a counter puncher when he's not, or try to get him to box when he's not a boxer. And I particularly would not do that with any fighter. Any fighter that comes to me, you know, if he was an amateur fighter, then yes, you know, perhaps you make him your way. You know, I work with amateur fighters. I've been working with amateur fighters my entire life. And obviously, when you work with amateurs, you develop them and you turn them, you make them your way, you know. And then eventually they develop their own particular style. So you work according to what you have. And that's the situation with Oscar. You have to work according to what you have. You can't, you know, he's a veteran fighter now. He's not a kid. Again, going back again to what I said, he's not an amateur fighter where you can, you know, change him and make him your way. He's not that type of fighter. And you have to just work with whatever cards are dealt your way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you see his chances against Berchelt? Berchelt is probably one of the most avoided fighters in the game right now. How do you fancy his chances against a fighter of that caliber?
I like Oscar's chances. I really do, because Oscar has to go back to what he knows. Oscar has to go back to what works for him, you know. And if you go back to his last couple of fights, or anyway, since he started working with Reynoso, you always go back to what you know. So when he gets himself into trouble, when the last opponent and the one before this last one, he found himself in a little bit of trouble. He's trying to do things that he's not accustomed of doing. So what does he do? He goes back to what he knows, and that's where he has success. So if Oscar can go back to what he knows and being an aggressive fighter and try to fight him on the inside, he has a chance. I don't think Berchelt is a great fighter. I don't take anything away from him. And Caballero, his coach, is, you know, we developed a pretty good relationship. He's my friend as well. But business is business, as you all know. Yeah. But I believe that Oscar does have a chance, and I believe Berchelt will stand there and sit there and bang with Oscar. And if that happens, he definitely has a chance.
Yeah. Another fighter that you had high, probably your biggest high in your career, was with Andy Ruiz Jr., becoming the first Mexican heavyweight champion of Mexican descent. What is your relationship with him now? Do you guys still talk?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people think that, or a lot of people, you know, especially with social media, everybody has an opinion. You know, everybody has something to say. But at the end of the day, the only people that know in reality what the relationship between myself and my fighters is ourselves. Yeah. And you know, like I just explained to you, Oscar was at my house a few weeks ago, and you know, we were chilling. We had a good time. You know, we're just
And Chelitas.
talking, and we're friends. And you know, with Andy, it's the same thing. I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen Andy since the fight last year in December, but I shot him a couple text messages, and he's responded, and you know, he said what's up, and you know, how you doing, coach, and you know, we have mutual respect. I'm not gonna sit here and talk, you know, and be negative about any of the fighters that I work with, because it goes beyond just being a coach and a boxer. You know, you develop a bond with each and every one of your boxers, and it's a special bond that you know, well, you understand that sometimes, you know, fighters move on, they go with other coaches, and look at what I just mentioned to you. I'm here with Saul Sanchez. I had Saul, then he went to Joel, and then he's back again with me. That's the nature of the business, you know, and you know, you just roll with the punches. But I have the utmost respect for Andy. You know, you can't change what we did together. Was very special, and I don't think how could I sit here and be negative, right? After you know, making history together and him becoming the first Mexican American heavyweight champion of the world. That's something that nobody will ever take away from me. And you know, you might have a second, you might have a third, there will always be the first, and no one will ever take that away from me.
I'm gonna go back a little bit ways, Manny. Before Andy became the champion, you went on record to say that you had that you dreamt that he knocked out Joshua. Can you tell me more about that? You know, how did that premonition or that foreshadowing came about?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you guys have probably heard the story. I mean, it came about because, you know, Andy was going through a very difficult situation at the time. You know, he had a promotion. He was with his last promoter. I'm not going to mention names as far as promoters, but he was with this last promoter, and you know, things weren't going well. Things were he wasn't fighting. He was trying to get his release. And so things were actually going in the wrong path, where he was considering retirement, you know, going back home, working for his dad. You know, he wasn't making any money at the time, so you know, he was just having trouble where he lived. Like he had to move out. I had to find him a place to stay. And between myself and Edgar Estrellita, you know, we put our heads together, and you know, we found him a place to stay for him to live, so he wouldn't end up going home, and he wouldn't end up retiring from boxing.
That's crazy.
And then I you know, I talked to him about, you know, hanging in there, you know, hang in there, kid. You know, things are gonna change for the better. Just don't give up. Don't lose hope. Don't lose faith. And then I actually did have a dream about him beating Anthony Joshua. And I shared that dream with him, and Estrellita was there with me, and some other fighters were there. We're all sitting together after training. We're all just hanging out at the gym and just talking about how I had this dream and how I was telling him not to give up and not to give up on himself. And yeah, sure enough, man, I dreamed that Andy had knocked out Anthony Joshua. You know, and I told him, and I know how you're gonna knock him out, and you know, because
you told me it was
just the overhand right.
Okay.
Overhand right, and you know, which has had a lot to do with the fight as well. It wasn't a one punch knockout, as you all know. There were several knockdowns, but that right hand had a lot to do with the win and with my dream. So it seemed silly at the time, and a lot of people mocked me for it and laughed at me because this guy's crazy. There's no way that's gonna happen, right? Well, guess what? It did, and I'm grateful for that. I thank God, and you know, I'm extremely grateful and humbled, and you know, life goes on. Like I said, he's now somewhere else, you know, training with another coach. And I respect that, you know what I mean? I just keep going. I keep being me. I keep doing what I'm doing. And as long as I'm okay with myself, that's all that matters.
Manny, take us back to that fight though, that round 3. Like, what was going on in your mind as a trainer, as his friend? Like, what are some of the emotions, the thoughts that you relive when you think about that round 3?
No, when you know, and it's just like you it's never over until it's over. You know what I mean? Even when he got dropped and he got back up, and he knocked down Joshua. It's never over until it's over, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just like we all know that we all like sports. Here I am, watching my Dodger game, and you saw what happened last night.
Yeah.
Bases loaded, 2 outs, and oh shoot, here we go. It's never over until it's over.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in boxing or in any other sport. You know what I mean? And so when Andy got dropped, I just kept my cool. I kept my composure. He got back up, and then he knocked down Anthony Joshua. Great. But I kept my calm. I kept my cool. And the fight, as you all know, continued up until the 7th round when we got the stoppage. And once the referee said it's over, then you can go out and celebrate and yell and scream and get emotional and all of that stuff. But before then, you just got to stay calm and collected.
When did it kick in that he was the first Mexican heavyweight champion? Andy Ruiz. When did it first kick in for you?
No, it kicked in probably in the locker room. In the locker room when they brought the belts. We walked in with the belts and we were holding the belts, and it's just we couldn't help not to get emotional. All of us, every single person in the team, and it's because you put a whole. You put a whole lot of effort. You put a whole lot of hard work and effort into fights, and particularly this one. Fighting who perhaps at the time was pound for pound the best fighter in the world, and Anthony Joshua, and then winning all the belts. With the exception of the WBC, and like that was what I explained. What a lot of people don't know is the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the win, but it's the struggle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The what led us to that moment. Eventually his luck changed, as I said, and he got signed to a new promoter. He fought on April 20th, 2019 versus Dimitrenko, which was a legitimate heavyweight, where he looked very good. He came back again. He looked good. He was happy. Everything was going great. And then we're already thinking about the next fight. They were talking to us about the next possible fight date, where a week later we get a phone call from Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing offering us the opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua for the heavyweight title June 1st. And then the rest is history.
Did that put pressure on you after the win? Did that put pressure on you a little bit? Because all eyes were on you as well, not just Andy.
No, there's always pressure. This ain't my first rodeo, you know what I mean? I work with countless boxers. In the past, my dad was a very well-known coach himself. My dad passed away, but he had his share of world champions where I was his assistant. I was his assistant coach, and being in the corner with my dad and learning from him, obviously it helped me acquire the knowledge and the experience that I have today. And I'm still learning. I'm a pupil of the game, of the sport. You know what I mean? I'm a student of the sport, and I learn on the go. I learn and with every one of my fighters, and every this being here today in Florida, in Orlando, it's a new experience for me as well. And obviously, I just try to let it all sink in, and I work hard. I work to win, obviously, and it's just something that I enjoy doing.
Definitely. Let's talk a little bit about your current projects or fighters. I know you have a podcast as well, right?
Yeah, well, I've been pretty busy. I have my podcast, which I actually stopped doing for a few weeks actually. I've been pretty busy. I've been traveling a lot, and I've been on a ESPN Plus telecast with Christina Pancher. I've been doing some commentating, some analyst work as a commentator for Top Rank and ESPN. ESPN Plus, that is. Mm-hmm. So and also the international telecast. So yeah, it's what do you call it? It's something new for me. It's a new challenge. It's something that I've always wanted to do, and I got the phone call out of nowhere, from Brad Jacobs and Top Rank,
Okay.
and they asked me if I was interested, and absolutely.
Hey.
Like I said, it's something I've always wanted to do, and like you said, the podcast with keeping it clean, and then boxing and my boxers, Saul Sanchez. Last week I was with Sergio in Merida, Yucatan, and so it just doesn't stop. It keeps going and going, man.
Hey.
We saw that, we actually constantly see you in Michaela Myers' corner as well. Talk about your
Yeah.
role there with her, especially, she's having a huge fight coming up. Let us know your role there and how did that come about?
Yeah. Thank you for asking. Yeah. Michaela Myers thank you for asking me that question, as a matter of fact. And Michaela Myers, she's great. She's a total package. She's got the look. She's beautiful, and she can fight. And she can box. She can fight. She's well mannered, well spoken. She's got everything. She's got everything to become a superstar, and I'm very fortunate to be part of that team, to be part of the Michaela Meyer team. I've been with her since her pro debut. I'm her cut man. I wrap her hands, and from day one when I wrapped her hands, she's like, "That's it." I don't want anybody else wrapping my hands but you, Coach Manny. So I've been, and then I have a great relationship with her coach, Al Mitchell, a very well-known coach in the amateur ranks, and also in the pros, very well-respected coach. So I'm extremely grateful and humbled for the opportunity, and I thank obviously Michaela and Coach Al Mitchell for giving me the opportunity to be part of the team. As you all know, she's fighting for the world title October 31st, and I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be in her corner. I was actually worked her last fight. I came in as a chief second because Coach Al developed the coronavirus, and he wasn't able to make the fight. So he called me and says, "Manny, you're gonna have to take one for the team." Says you're gonna have to take over this corner. So it was more than happy to do so, and she got the W, she got the win.
Hey, nice. So, Coach Manny, you talked about how people they see you when you're at the glory, but they don't see the struggle. Can you tell us a little bit about your struggle, or your challenges, becoming coach? I read a little bit about how you came over from Mexico early on, and the struggles they had to become a resident.
Oh, no, most definitely. Well, we all have a story. Every single one of us has a story, and I have my own story, of course. And I've had my share of struggles, just like we all have our share of struggles. Nobody has it easy, especially being immigrants or being the sons, of immigrant parents. That you all understand that struggle. Our parents or myself. When I came to this country, I came at a very early age. I was only 6 years old, so I didn't speak a word of English, and my English isn't still very good looking, by the way.
Nah, it's good. It's good.
Same here.
But
It's good enough for ESPN, Manny.
Pardon me?
I said it's good. It's good enough for ESPN Plus.
Right? That's cool. So I got here when I was 6, and my sisters, myself, my mom and dad. My dad was already here, but I went to school. I didn't speak any English. I had a struggle with the language, of course, and it took me years, to learn and to learn the language. But querer es poder. You know what I mean? So I owe my dad everything. I owe my dad my dad took me to the gym for the first time. It was a Azteca gym a gym in LA, in the city of Bell. Yeah. Very well-known gym where Julio Cesar Chavez used to train along with other great boxers back at the time, Juan Kid Mesa, Hector Macho Camacho. I came out of the gym. I came out of Azteca. Yeah. And, my dad took me to the gym for the first time. I was an amateur. I was a pro fighter. And eventually I started, my dad took me under his wing, and here I am. But the struggle, it hasn't been easy. just like every immigrant, you know, had to fight, you know, to a lot of fights in school, getting bullied and getting picked on because, you know, I didn't speak English. Yeah, you know what I mean? But I fought my way through it all. You know what I mean? And had great parents, my mom and my dad, which are no longer here. You know, both my parents passed away. And that was also, you know, it's also part of the struggle because my both my parents passed away at a relatively young age. You know, my dad was 55 and my mom was 57 when they passed away. So they were still young, you know, and you know, went through a lot. You know, losing my parents was probably losing my parents, and then I lost my brother as well. Everything just, you know, came. So when Andy won the world title, that's actually what came to mind. That's why that was the reason why I was so emotional, because I was thinking of my parents, you know, I was thinking about all the people I lost in the past, on top of all the struggles. Yeah. You know, and then when you win a world title, when you win the heavyweight championship of the world, despite people's, you know, despite what people say and not believing in you or not telling you, oh, you know, you're not gonna go nowhere, you know, you should leave boxing, get a job. This isn't for you. In my own family, and of course, people that criticize you within the boxing industry, because that's just how it is. Yeah. So when you get to win the heavyweight championship of the world, man, it's just like, it's very, very, it's just like, it was like a roller coaster, you know what I mean? Like, oh, man, my God, like, we did it, you know? And then it's, like I said, and then all the people, you remember all the struggles. Yeah. You remember everything that you went through to get to the pinnacle, to get to that moment. It's just an unbelievable experience, and it's just, like I said, man, I just try to stay grounded and stay humble and be grateful.
Yeah. I heard that your son was in attendance. What were some words that were exchanged between you and your son that night?
Man, I was so, you know, God works in mysterious ways. My wife, both Edgar and I were very fortunate to have our families there. You know, he brought his wife and his son, and I brought my wife and my kids, you know, my daughters and my son to the fight. And we didn't have tickets up until the day of the fight, bro. What? We got tickets the day of the fight. What? And, you know, my wife was like, well, if you get tickets, great. And if you don't, well, you know, that it is what it is. I understand. You know, we're all in New York. It was great. It was great for them. I was there for business, but they were having a great time. And, you know, they were out. I think they were at the Statue of Liberty. You know, they were visiting the Statue of Liberty. And then I called and I said, hey, I got tickets. And I called and I got tickets for everyone. It must have like 4, 5, about 7 tickets, you know, that just from our family, right? Yeah. And they all sat together. It wasn't like they were like spread out. No, they all sat on the same roll and everything. And they were telling me, obviously I was in the corner with the fight. They were telling me that after the fight, everybody was crying, and people were staring at them. Why are you guys crying? You know, because they're Mexican, and the Mexican fighter won. No, that's my dad in the corner. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, that's my dad. That's his coach. Yeah. So you can just imagine how. And then when I saw my son, like, my son is not a person. He doesn't show any emotion. He's like my dad. You know, this macho Mexicano. You know what I mean? Like, no, you know, and he doesn't show emotions. But
los hombres no lloran.
Los hombres no lloran. You know what they say, right? Yeah. But I'm more like my mom. I'm a crybaby, man. You know, but my son is more like my dad. So, you know, like his grandfather. So you know, when I got to the hotel, and when I saw them at the lobby, and my son just saw me, he just came to me and just, you know, hugged me and started crying like a baby. Like, I've never seen my son cry this way. So obviously, you know, he's crying. So I couldn't help not crying myself. And obviously my daughters and my wife and and everybody that was there. And I remember saying this at the press conference too. I don't know if you guys heard about this or not, but you know, because you know, the I have a great deal of respect for the British fans. You know, they're some of the best
Heck yeah.
boxing fans in the world.
For sure.
You know, the British fans are incredible, man. I felt like I was at the O2 Arena when I was at the Madison Square Garden. You know, we're in the U.S., but I felt like I was overseas.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in England because you know, Anthony Joshua. You know, he has a big fan base everywhere he goes. Yeah. So anyway, I said at the press conference, I said, we're gonna walk out. We're gonna walk into Sweet Caroline, but we're walking out to Mexico lindo y querido. Dang, and I saw that and I said that at the press conference. All the Mexican fans that were there, they're like, yeah, this was before the fight. Yeah. So you know, and sure enough, man. So a lot of people don't know this, but we were outside of the hotel at the front entrance to the hotel where we're staying at. And all the fans and all the Mexican fans and the British fans, including the British fans, you know, with the Mexican flags, and they were all like, you know, we're all celebrating and hollering, and you know, just somewhere, you know, crying. It was such an emotional moment. But then I had the opportunity to say, now it's time to sing Mexico lindo y querido. And sure enough, man, we all started singing. I know, except for the British fans, of course, but they were all looking, but they were all like, what's going on? But we all sang Mexico lindo y querido. And it was like, I'll never forget that moment, man. It was like putting a cherry on top, you know what I mean? And to a great night of boxing.
A ver, pues, give us a taste. How did it sound like?
No, it's a bit. No,
I'm just kidding.
Déjame chingo unos tequilas.
After a couple shots, after a couple chilitas.
No, Julio ya estuvo.
Yeah.
Manny,
but, you know, that's a popular song that Julio Cesar Chavez used to walk into.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then Oscar and some of the boxing greats, you know, have used that Mexico lindo y querido. So that was, but Chavez was the one that made it very popular.
I think Canelo's the one that does it too.
Yeah, Canelo's done it. Not like Chavez. There's only one Chavez, and Chavez used to do it every time he fought.
Chavez
Canelo,
Jr.?
yeah, he's done it, but not like Chavez is the one that made it very popular.
He said Chavez Jr. Come on, Chris.
Bro, come on.
Manny, but all that you described, it sounds like a movie, man. Yeah. If they had to make a movie about this, who would you like to play you?
Ooh. Ah, man. Mario Lopez.
I was gonna say that. That's a good one. No quiero nada, Manny.
No quiero nada.
I feel like he would totally do it too.
No.
Mario would totally do it.
Big boxing fan too.
Big boxing fan, yeah.
See, if you ask my wife, she'll say Luis Miguel.
Luis Miguel? Okay. I say Michael Pena.
Okay.
Michael Pena, no?
That'd be a good one too.
Do you know who that is, Mr. Manny? Michael Pena?
I think so. I think, yeah, I do.
I think
the guy with the mole, right?
The guy
He's a very good actor, right?
Yeah, from Ant-Man. Who else? He was in Selena.
Yeah, he's
he was
badass,
in Selena,
bro.
Oh, okay.
Selena's brother.
We were talking about him in the morning in the radio.
Yeah. I think he could pull it off.
He's badass. Yeah, he's a great actor.
Yeah. Well,
actor.
we couldn't get tickets, Manny, unfortunately, so we had to watch it at a friend's house. But man, we were. I'll be honest, I was one of those non-believers, and man, you made a believer. Andy and you guys made a believer out of me that night.
I won $100. But
Then
I felt dumb
that's
because
right.
I'm
Money
like,
where your mouth
I should
is.
have bet like a betting site or Vegas or something. I just bet my friend.
Oh damn!
Like he's like, oh, I bet AJ's gonna knock him out like within the first round. I'm like, no. I'm like, no, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll bet you $100. I'm like, okay, I'll bet you $100. And then I'm like, those $100 could have made me like $3,000 in like Vegas or something. I'm like, man. But I was still happy. Like, obviously, we're all like happy, but at least I made $100.
Yeah. How many messages of people that congratulated you did you get?
Bro,
he's still getting them.
I went on for weeks. I'm telling you, for weeks, trying to catch up to all the text messages and through the DN messages on social media and then obviously my phone and whatnot. Mm-hmm. It took me weeks to make sure that I did my best to try to answer every single one of them and say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Of course, by then everybody believed, Oh yeah, I knew you guys were gonna win. Oh, I knew you were gonna do it. Where were you before the fight?
Exactly.
For real,
You know?
man.
Hey,
Big shout
But
out
it's
to
all good though. It's all good. I mean, it's just it's just you don't I don't take any bad in that. You know what I mean? It's normal for people to feel this way.
yeah.
You know, and to feel that he doesn't have a chance. But that's what makes it so interesting. That's what makes it that's what makes the story so great, right? That when you believe in yourself, when you believe in your team, and when you do everything right, and that's what this story is about. The story has two sides to it. It's got like a coin that's got two sides. And there's two sides to this story. There's the side where obviously if you focus, if you work hard, if you're disciplined, if you put in the time and the work and the effort, good things happen. But then on the other end, as you know, for the second fight, when you don't do that, when the situation can get overwhelming, and I'm not speaking for myself, I'm speaking for Andy. I shouldn't be speaking for Andy, but what I'm trying to say is what happened, wasn't right, where everybody knows the story, and Andy told you guys himself, told the media himself that he messed up, that he wasn't focused, he didn't train, he wasn't 100%, he took the fight, he didn't prepare himself like he did the first time. That was probably the worst thing that happened for Andy. Was after winning a fight, it took him 3 months for him to get back to the gym. So you can just imagine those 3 months of just celebration, partying and visiting the president and governors and movie stars and
Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel.
You know what I mean? But that wasn't the problem. I mean, because there's a time and a place for everything. And I understand that there's a time, but there's got to be a time where, like, okay, enough is enough. It's time to go to work now, and don't forget about what got you here. But he was on a different agenda, and unfortunately, there's only so much I can do as a coach. I'm not his dad. He doesn't live with me. I'm his coach. I'm not his babysitter. I want you at the gym at a certain time. If he doesn't show up, what am I going to tell a 29, 30-year-old man? You know what I mean? What do you do? Like I said, but I wish him nothing but the best. He's in a different, when Andy's right on, be careful, man. This guy, he's it wasn't luck. Despite of what people might say or think, oh, he got lucky, bullshit. There's no such thing as luck. Luck is where opportunity and preparation meet. And that's what happened to us the first time. He was prepared. We got the call. We got the opportunity. We took advantage of it, and the rest is history.
100%.
Coach, you said, sorry.
We
all
Coach,
was
you
gonna
said
read the comments.
he wasn't your son, but you do have a son, Coach. His name's Manny Jr. How hard was it as a dad to basically let him go to Coach Rudy? And, how hard is it to see him fighting and not be in his corner and have, let's say, a bigger input than his coach?
Because he's my son, and I love my son. And when you love someone, when you have to be willing to let go. You have to be willing to, as much as I love my son, I had to be willing to let go and to understand that he needed someone else. He didn't need a dad, and he needed a coach. And who better than Rudy Hernandez? I consider Rudy Hernandez. First of all, Rudy Hernandez is my very good friend, and I considered Rudy Hernandez to be one of the top trainers in the world. He's got a lot of knowledge, and I trusted Rudy, and I still do, of course, with my son. And I said, and my son, gave in. He didn't want to, but eventually he gave in, because it's difficult between a father and a son, because sometimes my son didn't know how to separate the relationship between a father and a coach. So I said, I needed somebody that can get him to the next level, that could have a different approach. And then I thought Rudy was the one. And that's why I did what I did. And it was I love my son. And this wasn't about me. It wasn't about me chasing my dream. This was about my son's dream. And that's where a lot of parents fail, especially in boxing. A lot of parents, there's a lot of dads that coach their kids that are not willing to let go, and sometimes you have to, because this isn't your dream. This is your son's dream, and you got to let go sometimes.
Manny, in your opinion, what makes a coach a good or a great coach?
Well, there's different coaches. I mean, there's different types of coaches with different styles and different characteristics, as you all know. I respect every single coach out there. There's and they both bring every coach has something different to bring to bring to the table, right? Has something different to offer. We have a lot of great, particularly in California, Southern California, that is. You have Abel Sanchez, you have Robert Garcia, you have Joel Diaz, you have Freddie Roach, and these are some of the best coaches in the world, and it's and they're all different. You probably agree with me that each of these coaches brings something different to the table.
100%. Before we let you go watch the Dodgers, Manny, let me read some comments here from the comment section. Derek, our guy from the East Coast, shout out to Derek. He was saying, "I'll scream my lungs out when Andy beat AJ," and I feel like a lot of people were right. Even if they weren't an Andy fan, they just loved that underdog story. Yeah. So we can definitely relate to that. Shout out to our guys from Long Live Boxing. Says, shout out to the great coach Manny. Hey. Great interview, great stories and memories. Shout out to you guys from Long Live Boxing. Yeah, Lily rocking the shirt right there. That's what's up. And before my last thing, I just want to hit you with some rapid fire questions, Manny, if you're up for it.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to hit you with about 10 of them.
Don't put me on the spot now.
You are live, remember that.
You are live.
Hey, we're called Against the Ropes for a reason.
All right. I'll do the rope-a-dope.
Perfect. All right, so I'm going to throw out 10 words. You just respond with whatever comes to mind first, okay?
Okay.
First one, live commentating.
Live commentating?
Yes.
Live commentating, it's I want to do it again.
Hey.
Dope. Holiday.
Christmas.
Breakfast.
Chilaquiles.
Hey.
What's up?
Andy Ruiz.
First Mexican heavyweight champion of the world.
Hey. Anthony Joshua.
A gentleman inside and outside the ring.
Hey.
Next one, Mexican style.
The real Mexican style?
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
That's a good answer.
The real Mexican style, it would have to be, there's so many, but one of them would have to be, of course, Julio Cesar Chavez. I could go on and on with this. Salvador Sanchez. Triple G, of course, he's the,
He's there.
but
He's the CEO of the company.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah, of course, I mean, when you have fighters like Triple G that respect the sport, respect the game, but not only that, not only do they respect the Mexican style of fighting or the Mexican boxers, but he respects the Mexican fans, because he understands that without us, without the Mexican fans, there'd be no boxing. That's a fact.
That's right. All right, next one. Favorite city?
Guadalajara.
Hey.
La tierra del mariachi del tequila.
Hoy no más. Sí, del Canelo. Oh, next one.
¿Qué pasó?
Next one. Favorite boxer?
Y de las Chivas, compadre.
Hey, that's right. Las Chivas. Favorite boxer?
Favorite boxer, Salvador Sanchez.
Hey, okay.
Dope. Boxing fans?
Mexicanos, Mexican-American fans, Mexican fans.
That's right. And then the last one, 2020.
Ooh.
Oh, shit. 2020, an unforgettable year.
Hey.
Definitely, 100%. And then let me get your quick reactions on this stuff that was announced today. If you want to give an opinion on Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell, December 5th.
Good fight. It's a good fight.
And then Errol, that's it. Good fight. That's good. All right. He's like, I'm gonna save it for my podcast.
Talk to me about Lomachenko Teofimo.
All right, there you go. Who you got for that one?
There's something to talk about right there.
Ooh.
I mean, 2 world champions, one pound for pound, perhaps Lomachenko being pound for pound the best fighter in the world, and then you have Teofimo that's not afraid to take on this challenge that he could fight anyone else.
Yeah.
But yet he chooses to fight the best fighter in the world. To me, man, that deserves a great deal of respect.
Hey.
No prediction yet? Or are you gonna save it for later?
Prediction, it's hard to say, man. It's up in the air, but Lomachenko, you know, I've been seeing this guy fight since he was an amateur. I had the opportunity to travel to the World Championships in 2009 in Milan. Got a chance to see him win gold there, beat Oscar Valdez in the semifinals, and then I got a chance to see him fight again in the finals in 2011 in Baku, Azerbaijan, when I was a coach as an amateur coach for Team USA, and I got a chance to meet him as well for both championships, and he's a gentleman, man. He's humble. He's great. You know, he's a good person, and I just feel like Lomachenko, he's just like them type of fighters that come once every 10 years. You know what I mean? Once every decade, and he's at the top of his game right now. But I don't take anything away from Teofimo. I don't take anything away from him at all. He's definitely has a chance to beat him.
100%. And then another fight that should be fireworks. That's in October as well. Or did they move it? No, it was still in October, right? Los Santa Cruz against Gervonta Davis.
On the 31st, Halloween.
Yeah.
Gervonta. That's a tough one as well. But Gervonta's been campaigning at 130, now 135, a lot longer than Leo has. And understand that Leo comes from 118. You know, he was a world champion at 118, and then 122, 126, 130. I think he's pushing it already. He's not naturally a big, strong fighter, and he's a volume puncher, but he doesn't have that knockout punch power in at 130. He didn't have it. Like I said, he managed to get his knockouts because he stays busy. He's a volume puncher, but he's not like a one punch knockout artist. And so I don't think there'll be a stoppage. You know, I think that the bigger, stronger fighter of the two is Gervonta Davis. Technically, I think he's also more technically sound, Gervonta, but I don't take anything away from Leo either. I think it's going to be a great, great fight. I just, looking at their both fighters' characteristics, I just feel that Gervonta does have the edge.
Nice. All right, Manny. I'm gonna do Manny Robles' best I've ever seen. I'm gonna give you attributes of fighters, and you tell me which one fits the bill. Okay.
Oh man.
Okay.
You're gonna show me fighters?
I'm gonna give you like an attribute, and you tell me the best fighter that you've seen with this attribute.
Oh.
Okay.
I thought you said spiders.
Halloween.
I'm gonna show you spiders. I'm like, oh.
Nah. Okay.
Right,
here we go, Manny.
It's Halloween.
Best offensive fighter you've ever seen.
Best offensive fighter? Offense?
Offense, yeah.
Offense.
Or like trash talking offensive.
There's a few. Barrera, Morales.
Okay.
Of course, Chavez. No, he said offensive, not defensive.
Shout out to Estrellita, man.
Shout out to
over there watching
Estrellita.
the game.
Defense
he
is
said
coming.
Pernell Whitaker. He said Pernell Whitaker.
For
I agree,
offense?
but that's defensive.
Okay, for
That's
defense, Pernell Whitaker. Okay,
Of course, Pernell Whitaker. Of course, Lomachenko. He's just incredible. And, defense wins championships, guys.
Hey.
And look, come on, Mayweather.
Okay.
Is that enough names or do we need more?
That's enough. All right. Fastest hands you've seen.
Fastest hands
Mhm.
I've seen, Oscar de la Hoya.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
He was quick. He was fast.
Awesome.
Manny Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao.
El Estrellita.
He said Ryan Garcia.
All right. Smartest fighter inside the ring. Ring IQ. Smartest fighter.
Oh, man. Smartest fighter. Sugar Ray Leonard. Mayweather. Salvador Sanchez. Finito Lopez. Thank you.
Good
Finito
answer.
Lopez.
All right. Most entertaining fighter. Most entertaining fighter.
Entertaining fighter. Oh man.
Inside and outside the ring.
No, ¿cómo se llama el entertaining fighter? No.
Prince
El
Nassim Hamed.
Ay, espérame. El peleó con
El Chavez Jr.
peleó con Mikey García, peleó con ¿cómo se llama este cabrón?
¿Salido?
No, el 126, güey.
I think it's City.
El Siri Salido.
City Salido?
City.
Hey.
Did you say Siri Salido?
Yeah, Lily said it. Lily got it.
I got it. I love that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Check you out, all right. Right, Siri Salido. That guy, man, he was entertaining.
Hey.
He was win, lose, or draw. He was never in a bad fight.
Hey.
Never.
Exactly.
So he's one of them, and among many, I think some of the most entertaining fighters. That's why people around the world, and I know this from experience, and I've been fortunate to travel the world. Every boxing fighters they're so well respected throughout the world because of that. Because every time they step in the ring, man, they put their lives on the line. They fight with everything they got, man. They fight like somebody's trying to take their lunch money away from them. You know what I mean? And they fight to the end. So that goes for majority of the Mexican fighters of the great Mexican champions that we've had throughout history, boxing history. It's like, man, Juan Manuel Marquez, Chavez, so many.
But not only fighters, Manny, the trainers as well. I wanted to ask Estrellita this because he put his body on the line as well.
Oh, yeah.
When he took that
Come
punch.
I'm calling you, bro. He says he's busy. That's over here.
Busy having a michelada over there.
Busy, look.
Hey, Estrellita, I wanted to ask you.
It's live. It's the show's
it's
live.
live.
Estrellita got a better chin than the American.
Oh, hey, Estrellita, you took that punch by Andy Ruiz that one time.
Varias veces.
Yeah.
I could take anybody's punch,
Except for his ladies.
except for all the ladies. I'll take all the punches.
He's gonna get in trouble.
Hey.
Nobody getting in trouble here.
Actually, was it your Coach Manny who also caught one by Valdez? When you guys were training in
That was
Guadalajara, I remember
Coach Manny.
that was
Coach
Coach Manny,
Manny.
right?
But that was on purpose, right? No te creas.
I caught a few. I'm not gonna lie, I've caught a few, but nothing like Andy and heavyweight. Taking a punch like that from a heavyweight fighter, I gotta tip my head off to this guy, man. And I was there. I'm like, oh shit! But man, a lot of people. There's a video out there that I think ESPN posted.
Sports Illustrated.
Some ESPN posted a video and they think it's me and it's not me. It was actually Edgar. So a lot of people get confused when they see that video, and it was actually Edgar that took that left hook from Andy. Yeah.
Respect.
I don't know how, because I'm good looking and he's not.
Oh.
This guy, man.
Coach Manny.
Put that michelada away, man.
Yeah, I know, right? This guy, bro.
So, Coach Manny, one of the biggest questions that we've asked here on the ATR podcast is, can Andy Ruiz become champion again? And that's one of those tough questions where it really boils down to discipline. But if you had to match him back to the title, what would be your pathway to get him back to the title? Tuna fight versus who, and then what?
Well, you have to, the thing is he's got to fight. If he's not fighting, and it's hard to give an opinion. He's already going on a year on not fighting, and the worst thing that you can do to a fighter is not keep him busy. time doesn't forgive. Father Time does not forgive. Everything catches up to you. And if you're not busy, if you're not fighting, if you're not in the gym, then it's hard. It's hard to say. It's hard to. But I definitely believe that Andy has the goods to become a champion, but he's got to want it. Yeah. At the end of the day, he's got to show up. If he doesn't, then you and I can want something, and when everyone around him is team, but if he doesn't want it, then what do you do?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and for you guys on the live chat, we're gonna let Manny go soon, so get your last questions or comments off, and you guys still here if you guys any last questions that you guys have for Manny.
For the people that are tuning in, Manny is in Florida, so he is 3 hours ahead. I'm sure he's getting sleepy soon.
Nah, man, I'm on the West Coast time, brother. I'm watching the Dodgers.
The Dodgers are winning, so he better stay up for that one.
That's it,
So besides boxing, which is obviously a big part of your life, you talk baseball. I've seen Manny Jr. at Raider games. What are some of your other sports that you love to watch as well?
I'm a Raider fan. Hey, what are you gonna do? I'm a Raider fan.
His reaction said it all.
I feel bad. Don't worry about me, man. I feel bad for my son. I mean, at least I got a chance to see him win a Super Bowl back in the day, but my kid is just, oh my goodness, I feel so bad for him. Season after season, it's like, oh my God, this is a year, Dad. This is a year. And then you start out 2-0, now we're 2-2.
That's like
but anyway, I'm a Raider fan, man. I'm a Raider fan. I love football. I like all sports, I like baseball, of course, the Dodgers. I grew up watching. I grew up going to Dodger Stadium. My dad used to take me to Dodger Stadium when I was a kid, and you guys probably remember. You guys at some point heard of a pitcher by the name of Fernando Valenzuela. I'm sure at some point. Yeah. And he was an incredible Mexican from Sonora, from Mexico, Sonora. He was an incredible pitcher, and that's how I became a Dodger fan. Back in 1981. I'm not gonna tell you how old I am.
He was one, guy.
I saw Fernando win the World Series with the Dodgers in '81, and ever since then I became a big time Dodger fan. And go to Dodger games every time Fernando used to pitch. My dad used to. Those are some of my fondest memories.
Hey.
My dad used to take me to Dodger Stadium and go watch Fernando pitch, and obviously the Lakers growing up with Magic Johnson and Kareem and all those guys.
There you go.
And of course, there you go.
Hey.
I'm a Laker fan. I'm a Dodger fan. Of course, I'm a Raider fan because you do remember that the Raiders played in LA at one point. So I became a Raider fan. I'm an LA guy, man.
That's what's
up. I like all my LA teams, and but there's only one LA team, and that's the Lakers.
Yes, sir.
And just like the Dodgers, and I'm a Raider fan, but we got the Chargers now. We got the Rams, which is cool. It's cool. We support it. And I love soccer as well. I'm a Chivas fan. You guys probably don't know.
Viva las Chivas.
Le voy a las Chivas.
El rebaño sagrado.
El rebaño sagrado. Y el Estrellita le va a la América.
Eso es todo, Estrellita. Eso es todo.
Saquen ese güey.
No saben nada de fútbol. And what else? Yeah. And of course, I grew up in boxing. My dad used to take me to the Olympic Auditorium when I was a kid. And I don't know, you guys look very young. You guys look young. So
we just look young.
I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, really? Because my dad used to take me to a place called the Olympic Auditorium in the heart of LA.
Okay.
Back in the day, that was like the boxing cathedral, if you want to call it that, man. I saw, Pipino Cuevas fight there, and I saw Albert Davila, Julio Cesar Chavez, Negro Vejines, Kiko Vejines, Guadalupe Pintor. I saw so many great fighters. Roger Mayweather, fight at the Olympic and also the Forum. A lot of great fights at the Forum. Marco Antonio Barrera, Juan Manuel Marquez, Marcos Villasana, La Chiquita Gonzalez. Oof, man. Hey. I could sit here and talk to you guys about boxing all night.
Hey,
I'm a
Part 2
and
coming
that's
soon,
you guys.
guys.
I'm a sports fan
Yeah.
overall,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also, of course, a boxing fan. I love boxing, and you know what they say: when you love what you do, you never got to work a day in your life.
That's true. That's why we're here.
That's right.
Hey. So, Manny, you're like, I will miss a Jimmy Kimmel Live, but if they invite me to throw the first pitch, I'm there.
Oh, absolutely, man. Are you kidding me? That'd be cool.
How would your throw
You
look
know?
like?
Yeah. What kind of pitch would you have thrown?
Man, I got a pretty good fastball.
Okay.
He's laughing in the back.
No
I got a
respect. Estrellita don't believe it.
fastball. 97, 97, 98.
Kilometers.
Kilometers. Yeah.
Hey.
All right, man. But yeah, we're gonna let you go this time for real.
All
Thank
right,
you for
brother.
joining us, Manny.
We gotta do part 2, Manny.
Yeah, we got to do it again.
Yeah, for sure.
Next time we'll
For sure,
catch you on the
man, anytime.
actual West Coast, and we'll invite you to the studio, in-home studio.
That's right.
And the Lakers
That's
will be
right.
champions by then. God damn it.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, not unless they want to wait for me, because I'm you know, and save it till Sunday, because I'm gonna be at the fight
Oh,
tomorrow
man.
night.
Just
So.
go
But,
tell them I'm Manny Robles. Shit, give me my ticket.
I'm Mario Lopez' cousin.
Right
you know
on,
what I
guys. I
mean?
appreciate you guys, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Manny. Before we let you go, where
All
can
right.
people follow you?
You got it. Oh, they can follow me at Manuel.boxing, Manuel.boxing on Facebook and Instagram, and Manny_boxing on what is it, Twitter?
And then the name of your show?
It is Keep It Clean.
Keep it clean.
Yes, sir.
No low blows, guys. Keep it clean.
Báñense.
See,
All right. Well, thank you very much, Manny. We're going to let you
All right.
go. Have a good one.
all right. Thanks.
Peace
All
out
right,
to
guys. Take
Estrellita
care,
as
man.
well.
Good
Bye.
luck tomorrow for
Yeah,
your
for
fight.
sure. All right. Bye.
Hey.
That's
All
Manny
right.
Robles, ladies and
Man.
gentlemen. Good talk there. Good
Good
talk.
talk,
That was
good
about
talk.
an hour.
Yeah, I feel like we could have gone for 2 more, but we gotta respect. I know he wanted to go more. We gotta respect his time.
Dodgers are winning.
We will save a
6-2,
part
so-
2. The Dodgers are winning.
Yeah, it's almost
Okay,
11
okay,
over
okay.
there.
Cool.
Yeah, man. There's some topics at hand. I don't know if you guys want to discuss it today. Let's say like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
The Spence fight against Danny Garcia. It's December 5th, right?
December
With fans
5th.
in attendance,
Got moved.
supposedly.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like it's too soon to have fans? Obviously, we want to be there, but like, do you feel like it's too soon, or do you guys feel like it's an appropriate time? What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, Texas has already had fans for American football.
Yeah,
So,
Texas, they're
they don't
out there
care.
in bars.
They're
they
their
don't-
own thing.
they're
country.
doing their own- they're like Florida. They're doing their
Yeah.
own thing.
Yeah.
I think Florida might be a little crazier, though.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They're not wearing masks. At least in Texas, they're out, but they're wearing masks.
Yeah.
In Florida, they're like no masks.
No. Man, December 5th.
Ryan Garcia's date is also December 5th,
Yeah.
which we've had that a lot lately, where
Yeah,
we
I
get
don't like it.
cars from different,
Yeah, it's
you
not
know,
the same.
same day.
Yeah.
Because when PBC now moved October 31st for the Leo Gervonta fight, that's the same night that Inouye's
Inoue,
fighting Maloney.
Yeah.
You know, and
I'm
Michaela
like-
Myers fighting. So that's kind of annoying.
I don't like it. I like sticking to one channel. Obviously, you
Yeah.
could have 2 TVs or a
But it's not the
computer.
same. You
It's
get
not the same
cross-eyed.
because
Enjoy
you're focused
Just
on
on
one, and no matter what, you're missing
stuff,
something from the
missing
other one.
it.
Yeah,
Also, I think they just didn't want to compete with UFC, is what I'm hearing.
yeah, I heard that too.
Which, I mean, it's understandable. I don't know if you guys saw the, the press conference with Bob Arum and Tofimo, and
No,
he actually, was going off on
I saw a
basically,
clip. I saw a clip.
how it's
Pay-per-view,
pay-per-view,
right?
and
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
come on, like is a pandemic, which I do understand. That see, like the fan thing doesn't bother me as much if they take proper precautions, like wear a mask. They're only gonna have 25%.
Sit 10 seats apart.
Yeah,
you know?
like they're only gonna have like 25%, I believe, of seating, which in a stadium that's a whole fucking lot still.
Yeah.
But if they have like proper distancing, sanitizing, whatever, right? But I
proper
think-
like exit routes where
Yeah,
people won't get
exactly.
crowded. And
I think the biggest issue here is a pay-per-view for most fans. Like how many pay-per-views is that? Now it's gonna be 3 because we paid for Charlos.
Mm-hmm.
we actually
Gonna
pay for it.
We
Yeah.
pay for Charlo.
we
Now,
all had to pitch in for
Gervonta
that.
with Leo, which is
Oh, that's
coming
right.
up, and then so is Spence versus
Spence and
Garcia.
Garcia, yeah.
So these are still
It's kind of like, which one
fights-
are we gonna leave
Yeah,
out? You're like, I can't
exactly.
afford all of them.
So it gives you like a kind of a, it leaves kind of a sour taste in people's mouths. Where it's like that's 3 months of an extra. What is it? $80
Plus tax.
plus tax or HD if you
Plus
wanted an
food,
HD.
plus drinks.
Plus food, plus drinks, plus whatever, right? So it does kind of leave, kind of room for criticism. And that's exactly what Bob Arum was saying. And I do agree with him because he's actually, I feel like Teofimo versus Lomachenko was going to be a pay-per-view. I thought that was going to be for sure.
And the undercard is fire, too.
Exactly. Yeah. This is fire. Like, they really did that shit with their chest. They came out with that October schedule and we're like, and it's free. So I'm like, woo.
Yeah.
Worst thing is like ESPN Plus, like the undercards, but I mean that's still $5 if you're gonna pay for the monthly, so it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Who do you guys favor in all those belts though?
I think we've been through this, right? We've said this. I don't think is anybody taking Danny?
He's got like that
His dad.
His dad. He's got the. I mean, what happens if Danny does win? What, like, because this is
good. That's good for the 147
I
division.
feel like if he wins, though, people are not going to give him credit because they're going to be like,
Oh,
Spence
he's
just got
injured.
off of the car crash, which, I mean, shout out to Spenzo for not taking, like, some tune-up.
some tune-up fight.
Like some, rando at 147 or some, like, lower
Like Kill Brook or
C,
someone,
like-
that Crawford's taking.
some C-level guy with, decent. I don't know. Point is, he's actually taking somebody that is a former champion. So props to him for that. I do favor Spence regardless. However, we do, we don't know what the crash, what the effects of, and not just that, but the inactivity.
Yeah.
I feel like all these fights that are gonna be coming up and the great fights, it's still like, whoa, like inactivity is a factor in all of them, all of them, because Lomachenko hasn't fought in a year, right? Over a year.
Yeah.
He fought August of 2019. Now Teofimo, when he beat Comey, was that this year? Or was
I
that?
feel like it was last year.
Feels like a long
remember.
ass
I
time.
don't
Like a
know.
long, if it's a long, it feels like a long time.
It
It
feels
was
like a
probably
long
last
ass
year.
time. It was probably last year. So all these guys have been affected by the inactivity. So that's also a huge factor because I've talked to fighters who say yes, sparring is cool, yes, gym work is cool, but it's not the same to actually like getting action inside the ring. So that's actually gonna be a factor too.
Yeah.
For both
100%.
though.
Derek is taking Ryan by KO.
Ooh.
I agree with that, man. I agree with that. I'm gonna put my hands on the fire. Ryan by KO. I believe it.
What about you, Lily? What you think?
I feel like this is a great fight for Ryan. Like, holy shit. This is a great step up for Ryan. Because a lot of people, especially us here in, like, SoCal, we thought, like, Romero Duno was a big step up. Because Romero Duno did a lot to Golden Boy
Even
prospects.
Fonseca was supposed to be a good
because,
test.
Yeah,
He's a
Gervonta
veteran.
went 9 with him, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So it's good. Before we saw good measuring sticks, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay. But this time, we have a former gold medalist, like a fucking Olympian. And yeah, he has the similar record to Ryan, 20 fights.
Yeah.
But he's never been knocked out. Never been knocked out, not even by Lomachenko. So if Ryan is the first guy to knock this guy out, I mean, it will be just like his tweet said. It's a start of an era, right? He kind of copied Canelo there with the era thing, but it is a start of an era, and it will shoot him up, and it's for the WBC low interim title. Who cares? But if he gets, that Devin Haney fight, that would be huge.
Yeah.
I think when he said the order, he named Devin last. But
Hear a lot
he
of
talked
Gervonta.
he talked about
Yeah.
Linares, he talked about Luke Campbell, he talked about Gervonta Davis, and then he said Devin Haney. So, that's for the WBC. I feel like that would be the fastest thing, Devin Haney, but the WBC's hella inconsistent with the rules on the belt, so they probably will let that slide. Or maybe he might just get a PDF belt too, just kind of through email as well. So.
PDF.
A knockout over Campbell would be a statement, and it would make believers of all the UK fans.
But I still don't think people will give him credit though.
Will he be like another Canelo where, like, if he takes, like, opposition as it goes and it gets better and better and better, people are still gonna, like...
Yeah, like even like with Duno, they're like, lucky punch. One
I
punch
deadass
knockout.
thought Duno was gonna give him problems.
Yeah.
Because we've seen as SoCal people what Duno did to other people. Look at what he did to Chimpa. Chimpa was kind of like not like in social media, but he was like the big thing in Golden Boy for a good time.
I always
He would
heard the
be
name, even
he'd
if I didn't know who he
headlining
was.
Velasco all the time. He was the guy, the main event every time, Chimpa. And here comes Duno and just wrecks him. right? And we've seen devastating knockouts by Duno,
Mm-hmm.
some crazy ass knockouts, and Ryan in one round just dismissed them like this.
Yeah.
That to me
It's-
was
and
like, jeez.
Just the way that he like, people would expect him to get like to knock him down, but you expect Duno to get up. But the way he was so dazed just showed you the power that Ryan and the speed, the timing that he has. And so, if you would have told me Campbell was fighting the Ryan that fought the Solution, I'd be like, oh,
Yeah,
Campbell.
no, yeah.
But like he's improved so much with Eddie Reynoso, and just being around that atmosphere, that winning mentality, that
And I feel like just
discipline.
experience, dude.
Yeah.
He's what, 21?
Yeah,
like,
he-
of course,
he's
you're gonna
young.
get better and
But
better
I
every single
think
time.
I think it did have a lot to do with it. A lot because
No,
he
yeah,
was
I
trained
think
by his
so.
dad. And no offense, but Coach Manny
Yeah.
just said it. Like when you're a dad, you have to let him go. We heard Virgil's dad say this too. When you're a dad, you kind of have to let your son go. And yes, I see everybody kind of trying to say that Eddie Reynoso is the best trainer to go to, but he's trying to make people into little Canelos. With some it works, some it doesn't. With Ryan, it's looking good.
Yeah.
The outcome looks good.
Yeah. For someone like Luis Neri, right? We saw him.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
We saw him. What
didn't
is it?
like that
Last
at
week
all.
or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I already
Yeah,
forgot. What.
Yeah.
But that was a
not-
close fight.
That was a
with
close
Alameda. All right.
I still think Nettie edged it, but we kind of expected more from Nettie just because he was
Yeah.
like up there.
He's so aggressive, and I feel
Yeah.
like Eddie Reynoso, maybe he's not necessarily trying to change them. Maybe it's the fighters themselves who are like, oh, maybe I need to adjust to this
Yeah,
type of
I
style.
think so.
Let's not blame Eddie,
Yeah.
But we saw that with Neri, who is usually super explosive and aggressive, and this time none of that. Same with Valdez, explosive, aggressive, count forward.
Yeah.
None of that. So it works with some, it doesn't work with others.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it with Ryan. It's working
with
very
working.
well.
Yeah.
And we
It's
saw. I
working.
think the first time I saw was when he faced that Dominican guy in the undercard for Canelo versus Fielding, which that fight was kind of like whatever. But I noticed that Ryan was looking more sharp and his countering was better and his timing was better. So I feel like it's working with him specifically.
So is he beating Luke Campbell or not? You got to think about it a little more.
I think I need to think about it, but I do give him the edge simply because of age. Luke Campbell, what, 32?
I don't know, but he's British.
That's yours.
Early 30s. Something that Manny mentioned, like British fans are the best,
They're the
and I
best.
think there's a reason. Like they're so good at being fans and so good at hyping their fighters that their fighters they believe the hype and they're much. They're not as good as what they think, but it's because the
It's
fans
like
hype
the-
them so much.
The Selección Mexicana in soccer. Like, they think they're so good because their fans are like diehards.
shit.
But when they face a good
can't
team,
with y'all.
it's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
I think
But
I'm gonna.
I think
have
it's gonna be a good
Ryan.
fight, man. I think it's gonna be a good fight.
be Ryan
gonna be a good fight.
by late-ish knockout or stoppage.
It's
It
gonna be-
depends.
I just can't get over those 2 knockouts. Like
He's
they
been
were
done
just
by
too
Linares.
impressive.
And that's
No,
the
I'm saying Ryan.
Oh.
Those two last
Oh, okay,
knockouts were
okay.
just
Oh,
so
you're
impressive
right.
to
You
me.
said knockouts, not knockdowns. No, Linares dropped Luke Campbell, and he has faster hands, right, than most people, but not faster than Ryan's.
Yeah.
So if Luke Campbell was, taken down at least once, I think it was once he got dropped by Linares, which was a while back, 2017 maybe. But I feel like, Ryan, faster hands, we could see a similar outcome.
Yeah. I think that the reason people don't look Luke Campbell's because he doesn't have like that knockout power per se.
Yeah.
Like people are still unsure about if Ryan has a chin.
Well, I think they both have similar knockout ratios. Like, I believe in his 21 fights or 23 fights, I don't fucking know. Luke Campbell has 17 knockout or 16,
About, yeah.
and Ryan has 17. So I think they're just like one more than the other.
Yeah. I think Luke puts his punches together to get the knockout. Ryan actually has like that one punch
Well,
knockout.
one
Yeah, of
punch
course,
left
yeah.
And
hook.
so that's the difference. Like if Ryan was fighting a Gervonta, people would be a little bit more nervous for that fight because like, oh, Gervonta got that power, you know. Luke, not as much.
Yeah,
And
he'll
so I
probably,
think
like, just break you
that's
down,
that's why people are not too
Yeah,
nervous for Ryan this
so-
fight. But he is fighting against a veteran who has experience
Yeah,
over. him,
so Luke is 20-3, 16 KOs. So 16
Okay.
KOs in 20 fights. Yeah, Ryan has one more than him. His only losses has come to Lomachenko,
And
Linares,
Linares.
and somebody else.
Yeah.
Probably,
Ivan
like,
That's gonna be a
Mendy.
good fight.
early in his career.
Yeah, early-ish. Yeah, so that should be good, man.
No,
should be
I
good.
think this.
They haven't
just-
named the
it's
venue,
good
huh?
No, but
No,
it's
no.
good for Ryan because it's a good name. Like
That's a
at
good
his
name.
age, he's not
Yeah.
fighting like some older person, that you feel like, oh, well,
Yeah,
it's
if he
because
beats
they're
Linares, they would have been, oh, he's
Yeah,
older,
exactly.
Loma's smaller, and he beat him.
But this guy, I feel like it's a good name for Ryan. Very, very good. And then should he get across and come victorious in this fight, I feel like then we can maybe egg him on about everybody else. Like Devin Haney and I feel like the Devin Haney thing is never gonna die until they face each other because they have such history in the amateurs. You know what I mean?
I think that could be a mega fight down the road. I would like to see.
I'll give it like 5 years, man. Personally.
5?
Yeah,
Yes.
personally to make the most.
5.
Make that the
to
biggest
make
fight
the most
possible.
bank. Yeah.
5 years.
If it happens next year,
When did Oscar fight Tito?
5.
Trinidad?
I don't know about 5 though.
he's
Okay.
21.
Yeah, how old were
Maybe
Oscar
like 3.
when he fought Tito Trinidad? They were like 25, right? 25, 26.
You're not your best until like you're 27,
And you-
26.
And
Like,
you need to build that resume. You need to build that hype even more. I mean, he already has that social media, but he doesn't have like the mainstream,
Who,
fans
Devin?
that pay. Ryan. He's got the social media.
he's got
the
Logan
same-
Paul, son. What's up?
Oh,
Or one of the Pauls.
Do you guys believe this? Do you guys believe that
no,
beef?
they.
Why are we talking
hold
about
on.
that?
Bro? Remember when they first were talking about Ryan with the Luke Campbell fight? Didn't that same dude, the balding brother, he commented on Ryan's post talking about you're gonna turn him into soup because Campbell. So,
Dude,
bro,
I
like they're
saw,
friends, and that I've seen better acting in like
No,
adult
but
entertainment.
the last diss I saw from the
Dude,
Paul
he's
brothers.
hanging out with Rollies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know.
He's
But I
hanging
saw a
out
whole
with
diss
Rollies.
video. I'll show you guys after because I don't want to say the stuff he said because it was pretty.
Pretty
He
bad.
said about Oscar being his zaddy.
I'll show you. But no, it wasn't. The clip I saw wasn't that. But
To me, I don't
Gonzalo
think
Torres
Uh-huh.
has a question. Do you guys think Campbell is a more compelling fight than Linares?
Most definitely. Because Leonard is
Campbell.
old and he's been knocked out by the one and only Cano. So, like, Linares has been knocked out. And he's older.
But Cano is bigger.
But
I think Linares bit off more than he can chew.
yeah.
he shouldn't have gone up
Yeah.
now. But
Linares
my
has more
point is that he's
experience
been
than
down.
Campbell.
He's been
Yeah.
hurt. He's
Yeah.
been knocked out twice, so that leaves more room for opportunity for people to be like, oh, if he's been knocked out before, then Ryan's going to do it because this guy's older and his reflexes may not be the same.
Yeah.
He's older, he's fast, but not as fast as Ryan.
Like I think Campbell could take
Campbell is
Ryan's
better.
punch better than Linares.
Yep.
But I still think that Linares has little tools that he's
Yeah, no,
crafty.
don't get me
He's
wrong. I
crafty.
would
Colmillo.
love to see that fight.
Yeah, I
And
want to
it
see that
might
one.
still happen because
Last time-
the only reason it
yeah.
didn't happen was because of COVID. Because didn't they
Yeah.
say they already
Yeah.
had like the Staples
Yeah.
Center supposedly
something.
already like set?
If he gets
basically
past
for
Campbell,
July?
I want to see Linares next. I can wait for the David Haney and the Gervonta
Yeah,
fight.
5
those-
years,
I
baby.
could
5
wait a little
years.
bit.
That's a long time, 5 years.
I could wait a little bit.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I think he definitely gets more credit if he beats Campbell than Linares from the
From the fans'
general
perspective. Like,
fan perspective. Yeah,
the casual fan perspective, of course.
I don't like that word.
I would give more. I would give him more credit for Linares. Me personally, yeah.
Because
Just
I think I
he's
would
a
too.
two-time- he's a
I think
two-time
I
world
would
champ.
too.
yeah. Campbell has not held the title yet.
Ever, yeah,
Ever.
no. His
I
only
think I would give him more credit for Linares, but Linares is older, and we've seen him get like devastated knockouts against
Shout out
him.
to Cano.
So,
Shout out to
yeah,
Cano.
shout out to Cano. He had a birthday
Happy
recently.
belated birthday.
Yeah.
Hey,
Shout out to Pablo Cesar.
feliz cumpleaños, compa.
I don't know how he makes him 40. He's freaking
know.
tall and he's like big, dude.
Wait,
That's
Cano?
crazy.
Cano's like that, like low reward, high risk for all those guys. Nobody wants to.
Nobody wants to
He
fight him.
needs, but the thing is that's Golden Boy's job. And when he
Yeah.
beat Linares like that, that should have been their
Yeah.
their cue to be like, let me put this guy in like any cool big undercard because he's entertaining as hell. Even that fight that he had in Mexico with his last one,
yeah.
he got
love his
dropped,
style.
and then he came up, and that shit was a war.
Stop
So I'm
that,
like,
dude.
why would they not put this? He's so easy, like to market.
Mm-hmm.
Like a top, like a card opener. That's a great card opener fight. Like you get the people pumped because it's an win or lose is entertaining.
Who
So-
has fought Eric Morales, Shane Mosley? Who else he fought, dude?
Fought
I
everybody.
forgot. There's so many names.
He almost fought Alfonso Gomez.
Almost fought him. Almost fought this other
It could
guy.
still happen. Got a little yard here in the front.
ATR promotions.
Yeah.
They will do the whole ringside commentary, bro.
In Spanish.
In Spanish. ¿Qué más quieres?
All right. Do we have any other topics?
Man. It's a wrap.
What have you been up to, Lily?
Well, I did
Some
write an article
interviews?
today, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
on Campbell versus Ryan Garcia. As soon as it came up, I'm like, ooh, and I got into it, and pretty much the same thing I discussed that we just talked about right here, but with a little bit more detail. Doing interviews, of course, thanks to you guys because we've been around the Valderas and and Roxy, and of course Andy Aguilar, who deserves all the credit in the world. And
Coach G.
It's fun,
And
yeah.
Coach
And
Go.
Coach G. Let's put some respect on her name. Entertaining people, man. Like, I love
Yeah, they're cool.
interviewing them because they give you so much. And you can tell they're passionate.
Yeah.
Just by looking at them and their responses, you can tell they're very passionate. So it's been great. I wish it was more, I kind of shy away from like the Zoom stuff because I
Yeah.
don't know all this technology, but
I mean, we had trouble here.
yeah.
We can't even
See,
hear.
but
All,
I would have just been like, yeah, fuck this.
I don't know why we have these on. We can't even
Yeah.
hear. They were not even working this whole time.
This whole time we could only hear
Eyes
Manny.
either
Yeah.
hot. For
Some
real.
technical difficulties, but it happens when you do it live.
Yeah.
Right? When it's pre-recorded, you have time to
To edit.
yeah,
Yeah.
do all that cute stuff. But yeah, and then what was like? Oh, question: do you guys think Ryan will go to the UK?
I think it would be more fucking awesome if
Yeah.
he beats him over there. It'd be
Yeah.
like Kelbrook when Kelbrook lost to what's his name?
Errol
To
Spence.
Errol
Yeah.
Spence.
Yeah.
I think it's always better, when imagine if Andy would have beat Joshua over there. That would have been even more massive. So it's always better when you go to them and
to their
you
yard.
beat them. Now, shout out to Ringwalk John podcast like that. That's a really good podcast called the Ringwalk, and he's more of a betting podcast. He talks about odds and stuff like that's mostly what he has. He does have guests sometimes, but most of his
Gamblers
content
or
is gambling. It's gambling and what do they call it? Handicapping.
Handicapping. Yeah.
Right? I don't know the terms, but he is great, and he has like that radio voice, so like it tunes you in. And he actually talked about the odds right now that Campbell's actually the favorite right
that.
now. But
Right
he
now?
said, that right now he's actually the favorite. So he's saying
Interesting.
if people are betting for Ryan to
Yeah.
bet right now, but
Yeah.
if they want to bet for Campbell to wait until like closer because
Yeah.
as the fight comes
yeah,
closer.
Yeah.
The odds will
He's gonna
change.
the odds will change, and then you can bet on Campbell to win. So if you're favoring Campbell, according to Ringmark John, you need to wait it out until
Yeah.
he's not the favorite. But right now he is. So right now, if you're trying to bet for Ryan, you should bet right now.
Man,
And it's the Ringwalk John podcast, Ringwalk podcast with John Lear.
yeah.
Let's check it out.
I feel like these bookies know something like we don't know.
Yeah.
These bookies have
Or
like
they don't know
guys
shit at
outside
all.
your house,
But
like
they-
That's my
spying.
theory. Like either they know like what's going on, or they don't know shit at all.
Well,
because
he's a writer too, so
Yeah.
he knows
Yeah.
boxing. But I
Yeah.
can see how
no, because
Yeah.
no, because the odds are like made, and then they flip once people
Yeah,
start
mhm.
betting. That's
Yeah.
how they work. So,
I mean,
like you said, either they know something, like the person who initially puts the odds out,
Yeah.
or maybe they just
I
they're
mean,
guessing. I don't know.
I've seen Goodfellas and now bookies. That's their full time job is just to like go and investigate what the heck is going like on and around their social life, like financial, like everything. And so I don't know. We've heard some stuff about Ryan. He just had his second baby, right? And so maybe there's some distractions going on there. Maybe not. Who knows? But
I don't think he's the one staying up taking care of the babies. I think he's good.
I think he's good.
Shout out to Sean from Just Boxing checking in. What's up,
Hey,
Sean?
Sean.
We're signing out in a little bit. We're just getting our
Is
last
this your
comments.
first podcast of the week, or you guys had already recorded one?
no, that's the first one.
First one of the week. We actually haven't done it live in a couple weeks, huh?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
before you guys end it, we should talk about that ridiculous fight this past Friday,
Oh, that's
Saturday.
right. How did we miss that, bro? The fight of the
It's
year.
because there were so many things announced
Oh,
today.
okay.
and,
Oh, my goodness.
And
The
you know,
disrespect.
Lee just had a really devastating knockout too
Oh, my
on
goodness.
yesterday. I was at school, but I saw the knockout reel, and Brandon Lee, the Asian kid.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he every time I see reels of him, he's knocking motherfuckers out cold. This
Yeah.
guy was out cold, like out of the ring. So I feel like that one's gonna take knockout of the year
Mm.
because it was so devastating. But the opposition
Good,
was. It was a good step up, but it wasn't like at the level of
Okay.
Cepeda and Varanchik,
Yeah.
because those are both top 10
Yeah.
guys at 140.
Yeah.
Did Cynthia repost that or post it? Cynthia Conte?
I think she
On Twitter?
did. She
I think
might
that's
have.
where I saw
Yes.
it. Yeah,
And
I saw
well,
that
I
knockout.
think she retweeted it from Jonathan Lear, who is the guy that does the Ringwalk podcast.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's some massive KO. But again, these are up and comers. I'm not taking anything away,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's more meaningful when you get two top 10 guys. And I love that you posted it, and it's on my interview as well. His strength and conditioning coach and Coach G, who is not necessarily Zepeda's coach, but she sees things, right?
Yeah.
And they said shit exactly how it played
Exactly.
out. And Andy Aguilar said, he's either gonna outbox him, or if he feels he can take the power, then he'll be like a war. Now, they both each got dropped four times.
Fuck.
But
That
every
was
single
insane.
time, estaba, Cepeda
That was-
didn't look super hurt. I thought like the first 2 rounds he looked out of it. Like the first time he got dropped twice. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm like, he looked out of it to me. Like he looked
I'm
distracted.
playing it right now on the screen for you guys, just in case you guys didn't see. I'm
he
pretty
looked
sure you guys saw it, but
distracted.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Whoa.
thing made numbers. Probably after because it was on ESPN Plus. But I seen him even like MMA fighters tweet this out. I've seen like other
Yeah.
sports
ESPN.
people.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people that were upset that this fight wasn't promoted more.
Yeah.
Like you should have told us. Like these were mostly casuals. I think mostly people
Yeah.
that and people that didn't want to pay for like the ESPN Plus. But people that know boxing knew this was gonna be like two top guys.
Top 10
I just
dudes.
don't think people really thought it. Like they didn't expect it to be this many knockdowns. The fight of the
The
year.
reason that is because when you look at the 140 landscape,
Yeah.
there's so much attention on Regis and Ramirez and Taylor, right?
Now the
Those are
3
the
and 4
top
guys.
3 dudes that they're so consumed by the fans that kind of these guys go under the radar,
Radar.
even though they're really fucking good.
Yeah.
So it's
Arnold
a good
Barboza
division.
against Salcedo.
That
That's
one
a
might be
tremendous
tough.
fight, and
I feel like
nobody's
that's
talking
gonna
about
be like
that.
this one.
Yeah.
That one's definitely gonna be like this one. Because
I think so.
El Cholo, he does not care. Like, he comes forward, he'll have a bloody nose, he'll have, like, just his pummel, like, of his face, and he doesn't care.
That was his last fight, right? Didn't he end up like that? Was that him, or am I mistaken him for somebody
I
else?
think that was him.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think that was
pretty
him.
sure. Because his fights are tremendous.
Yeah.
And yes, I agree with the fans. They have to at least try a little bit more, man. Like, boxing
Put like a
is
commercial
such-
or something.
Bro,
Yeah.
for real.
Put a
like,
commercial in the middle of the NBA finals
I saw that
this
they're,
weekend.
they're doing that for the Lomachenko.
Yeah.
And Lopez, they're putting some promotion in between other sportscasts. But damn, boxing needs a little bit more love.
It does.
A little bit more love. Like, please. I'm telling people everywhere, like my Facebook friends, on Instagram. I joined Discord just to tell
I
people.
still don't know what that is.
It's hard. I don't know how to work it, but
Whoever's
it's
working
so
at
hard.
Top Rank, they have like content to work. Like you want to
Yeah.
see great fights, put all those knockdowns, pop, pop, pop. People are gonna be like, oh
Yes,
shit.
exactly.
Like,
So I tell people,
Top Rank,
please
hire
tune
me,
in.
son. I'll make a video for you guys. Trust.
A promo.
I got you.
to turn water into
I got
wine.
you.
But seriously, like this month has so many ridiculously good fights that it should most definitely be kind of taken a little bit more into notice because ESPN, like,
we
they-
forgot about Halloween. It's all
Yeah,
about boxing.
exactly.
Boxing on Halloween, son.
So we
Forget
should do,
trick-or-treating.
Like a little Halloween party
We'll
with
throw a watch
boxing
party.
theme, like we're
Hey, I'm Canelo for
you're
Halloween.
Canelo,
Let's go.
You're
Don King.
you're Don King.
Let's
I
go.
don't know.
Who you gonna be? Who you gonna be?
I gotta
Did I
think
host?
about it.
Huh.
No,
You're
that's
not
in
gonna
my
be a
head.
banana.
I can't be a
Unfortunately.
banana.
Banana.
Damn.
You know what? Let me
Huh.
answer this question real quick because our guy Chris Bear is here on the live
Okay.
chat. He's asking about Pacquiao and McGregor.
Oof. I'm actually working on a story about that right now.
Really? I think Pacquiao knocks him out.
I think Pacquiao knocks him
And
out,
faster.
Too quick.
Faster.
fast.
Quick.
Faster than Floyd. The only thing
Yeah.
I feel like this does, it's like a lot of angles from different fight fans and from different perspectives.
Yeah.
Because the ones that are obsessed with Floyd Mayweather and that are like his hardcore fans are gonna be like, you're just living in Floyd's shadow. You're just
Yeah,
like
he already
doing
did that
whatever.
first.
Like he did it first. Like look at you. You're just living in his shadow, right?
Yeah.
Now I feel like every boxing fan is kind of like another exhibition, like like they're gonna be like kind of whatever about it. They're still gonna watch. We're still gonna watch, but they have a little bit more like you can donate money with any fight. It doesn't you don't have to fight McMuffin to like, But now the UFC fans though, the UFC fans are an equivalent of British fans. They are loyal as fuck. Like they don't care if you've lost a million times.
That's
They don't
true.
care.
They support their
UFC
president to the death.
UFC fans
took
are
somebody else.
so loyal, so loyal, and so passionate. So like they have to. I feel like they're gonna be the biggest buyers of this event.
Yeah, probably.
It's gonna be the UFC fans because the boxing fans they care, but they're not like they don't. It's not in our radar enough to be like, oh, this is intriguing.
Yeah.
But we know that he's gonna take
Yeah.
McMuffin, a little bit more into deep waters.
Yeah.
Not into deep waters like in rounds, but he's gonna knock. He's not gonna play around with him like Floyd did.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's gonna knock him out quick. But that's gonna be like, oh, Floyd is still better. Floyd still did
He
better.
got paid more.
So he got paid more, exactly. And of course, Floyd is gonna come out with his usual.
He's gonna have a
Pose.
message.
His petty pose.
Yeah.
Whenever anything big happens, like he loves to just
Yeah.
remind that he's still
Still
that
there.
bitch. Like he's like, it's still me. Like sorry, like everything's still to me. So, and I think Pacquiao kind of cushions the criticism from boxing fans as related to you could just fight anybody and you'll make that much money. But the whole donating it to charity, it's huge and it's a very nice thing to do. And I feel like it's also because it feels like a boxing fight would make more money with the gate coming in, like an actual gate, not just like here and there. And I think this fight's gonna be in Saudi Arabia too, or the Middle East somewhere. Yeah, it's gonna be in the Middle East somewhere.
So you're gonna pay big money for that.
So like I feel like he thinks I'm gonna be over there. Like that's not. I don't. For an actual boxing fight, I don't need to put myself through that.
Yeah.
To like have to go adjust to that time over there and do all this. He's like, I don't gotta do that.
Yeah.
Let me just do this with this and make money and then give that shit to charity, which is cool. Like I think.
Yeah. So it's really gonna happen. Like it's the fight
yes,
the fight is gonna happen.
His assistant actually reached out to ESPN and they actually posted a whole statement about how it's going to happen. There's still negotiations, but McGregor tweeted that it would be in the Middle East. And Pacquiao, so that's when they released a statement that it was gonna happen, but it was gonna happen for charity. Like he was gonna donate the money for COVID victims in the Philippines.
Oh, okay, that's nice. That's sweet. Yep. Are they gonna do like a New York, LA press tour, or is it just gonna be straight?
I don't think so.
A Zoom press tour.
Yeah, not given the situation. Also, who knows? But I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Also, Manny's not like a trash talker.
Nah,
That's like that was the interesting thing with Floyd and McMuffin because they were super. Didn't he wear like that "fuck you"?
On the suit.
Like a suit that said "fuck you" on all the lines. So. Look
McMuffin.
at how Pacquiao took Broner's comments. He just laughs, He just laughs.
Yeah.
Broner said Marquez made him plank, and
who?
Marquez made Pacquiao plank. He's like, he made you do the plank.
Okay, yeah.
You know how back then like planking was a thing, and then he's like, oh, you eat cats or something like that. He was giving Pacquiao like just a bunch of shit, but Pacquiao just laughs. So it would voting it just Pacquiao laughing the whole time, and it would not be as entertaining. So it depends. I mean, that's it. Are we still gonna watch it? Yes. Do I care as much? Not necessarily.
Is this pay-per-view?
I don't know yet. I believe it would be.
Let me send a shout out to Sean too, who said Povetkin had a big knockout as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. That was a big knockout.
So that knockout of the year should be pretty big this year.
Yeah, it's a lot of contenders. Even though the year sucked, like there's a lot of contenders.
I was giving the knockout to COVID, but yeah, there's some runners.
Oh Lord.
He said, "I don't think." Gonzalo says, "I don't think Pacquiao actually understands Broner TBH."
I know. He's just like, yeah.
Wow. All right. I think that's it, right? We have anything else? Anything you want to plug, Lily?
Just on ChicanaBoxing.com, we do have my article up for
Check
the
it out.
Ryan Garcia. And by tomorrow or Monday at the latest, I will have one for the Pacquiao versus McMuffin thing. Obviously, nothing like prediction. It's more what we talked about, like the perspective from different fan bases and what that would bring and what that could mean for Pacquiao along the road. And that's not gonna be on my page. That's gonna be on Scriber Media. And I'll just link that on my socials, which is Lillikins Ulloa on Twitter, and then Billy Ho Saunders on Instagram, which is just like Billy Joe Saunders, the
H.
British. What is he, like super middleweight now? 168, right?
Yeah. Super middleweight, yeah.
Just like his name, Billy Joe Saunders, but with an H instead of a J. Billy Ho Saunders. That's the easiest way to find me. And then from there, you can message me, say, what are your other socials, and then you'll get them.
Okay.
I'll put it on the link too in the description, guys.
Thank you, Drew.
Yeah, for me, just shout out to Manny Robles. Great podcast, great interview. He shared a bunch of good stories, a bunch of good moments that he had last year and then this year, and so I think we talked about this. I think he's done a great job in Top Rank right there alongside Chris.
I
didn't get to tell him that.
We forgot to tell him, huh?
I forgot to tell him.
I feel like we
We
got
mentioned
so
it.
into some other. But I love his standpoint of a trainer because Christina is on point with the blow by blow.
Yeah.
She's great, right? But when you have him like complimenting that, when she says a blow by blow and does her little comments that are also like great, he comes in with trainer's perspective and he's like, well, I think if he does this, he can do
like,
this.
I didn't even
and
think
that.
about that.
Exactly. You're like, ooh, because most of the time, I mean, before they had Teddy Atlas and that we saw how that turned out. But most of them, it's like former fighters.
I was learning
right?
about fire and firemen and stuff.
For some reason, we wanted to light things on fire after the fucking
You
fights.
can't I
kitchen.
sometimes like when you're all depressed and shit, I'm like, I wish Teddy Atlas would come like bedside and tell me I'm a fireman, like dead ass. And then speaking of Povetkin, when Povetkin became like a champion, it was Teddy Atlas in his corner, and he was getting his ass beat. And then Teddy Atlas is like, his dad had just passed away. He's like, your dad wants a champion. He's like, your dad, he's looking from heaven, and he would want a champion. Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna be a champion? Next, literally that starting belt knocked out. He knocks out his opponent.
Yeah.
So Teddy Atlas, as crazy as you may call him, he does that.
Yeah.
For fighters, you know, he with Volstic, I mean, I feel like he should have stopped that one, but he was giving him really good, like, motivational, and sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like,
I like
motivation.
that he got on the ref too, because I think the knockdown early
Yeah,
on, and
it
I think
was,
they scratched it, right, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But right after the bell rang, he was like, referee, blah blah
Yeah,
blah,
he, like,
and the
went-
ref was like, oh shit, oh okay, let me go check
All
it
right,
out.
Teddy, my bad.
Better listen to this guy. He's gonna light my house on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Shout out to
Teddy
Sean.
Atlas.
Shout out to Sean from Just Boxing. Hope you're doing well, brother. I haven't heard much from you, but
I love
mean,
the
we haven't
pictures
done
with your
live. so-
daughters though. Like I
Yeah,
love,
it's funny
I
stuff.
love
Yeah.
the Facebook pictures with your daughter. And I'm still subscribed to her podcast. And my kids listen to her podcast. She had like the little magic podcast about little fairies
does?
and unicorns.
Oh dang.
And my kids
Nice,
were like
nice.
listening to her podcast, and I just hope you guys make more. But I know quarantine is weird. But Sean,
Yeah.
your daughter, your pictures with on Facebook, they make me happy. They give me just the right amount of serotonin. Like
Yeah.
they make me happy.
That's that mama mentality, girl dad. There you go. That's
yes.
what's up.
Because I really hope she decides to do more.
Kids just like they do things one day and
Yeah,
then they
right.
forget. Like it's cool, but we enjoyed the ones that she did.
Yeah, shout out to Sean. Any more shout outs that you guys have?
Shout out to Coach Gloria for opening her doors. You know, we kind of got a little snippet on like what camp life is like. You know, just all of them eating in there, all of
And
them
her
staying
food,
at her
my
house.
God, that lady can do it.
Man,
all,
dude.
my dude, she can do it all.
Me and G are gonna start training with them just so we could get some food. I swear.
That's what I want to tell her. Like, can I come and those? She posted like the breakfast, and I was like, carne asada, and like a bunch of stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah, and
how
I saw
much?
a bunch of fruits
like
on her
how
next one.
much to like
Que más
come here
quieren?
and just like have breakfast with y'all? Like that ass, like please. No,
Yeah.
porque bien lejos. If not, I'd be like, hey, just
Yeah,
dropping
I
by.
know someone wanted to hire her for a camp. I'll tell you guys after the podcast, but,
Oof.
but she told me to
Off
be a
the
chef.
record,
To
yeah.
be a chef.
Dude,
Yeah.
she's great.
We got
Why
her
wouldn't
on.
you, man?
That's
Why wouldn't
ceviche
you?
too.
Yeah,
And
and
I'm
then,
from Nayarit, so I know about ceviche. That shit was bomb.
That shit was good.
yeah, it was bomb. Make sure to check out that episode with
Yes.
Carlos Valderas and Sean Garcia, co-hosted by Right Hook Roxy. Lily was there as well. Andy was there. Coach G was there. And then I'm trying to
Full house.
schedule one for next Tuesday, Lily, if you're free.
I'm down, yeah, yes.
About Coach G. And you know how she is. She's very humble and she's
Yeah.
very like kind of shy.
She always draws the attention to someone else. Like, we're asking
Yeah.
her about her. She's like, oh, but my fighter. And I'm like, girl, I'm talking about you.
Yeah.
So I do want to
Yeah.
stay tuned for that because I do want to
Yeah.
do like a whole written story on herself because she got a story. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
definitely want to bring that out.
You guys
So,
saw this bar mat video
Tuesday.
that they dropped for her?
Yeah.
I kind of had like visions like, dude, 10 years from now, they're gonna like, there's gonna be one on
Mm-hmm.
on if Showtime is still around or like whatever's like the next big platform.
The Zone,
it's gonna
baby.
be her story.
This was on the last thread right now. Like, they're struggling. Oh, that's what I talk about on my article too. Just a little bit dive into how this Ryan Garcia fight might actually get subscribers
Revive,
back.
yeah.
He has around 8 million followers just on three social, like on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube alone.
Yeah.
That's 8 million. I didn't
Yeah.
see his TikTok, but that's a lot of fucking million people. like to bring that into the zone at least
Yeah.
for the month, or those they're teenagers. They'll be like, Dad, can I borrow your credit card? They might just pay for the whole month, or they just forget to cancel because their parents don't know. And
Yeah.
that's you bring in a lot of subscriptions from Ryan Garcia. So I
Yeah.
feel like the zone right now is like, oh, thank God.
They got to, yeah.
We're getting Ryan's
I,
fight.
I know
and he's
Oscar is
fighting.
pissing off Canelo and all this stuff, but like they gotta keep this Ryan. Like they gotta keep Ryan happy and
They gotta keep
man.
They got to keep
so
Ryan happy, Virgil happy.
I don't
Virgil's
think
gonna be
Virgil
happy
cares.
regardless.
Virgil's like,
Yeah,
whatever.
he's gonna be
Virgil's
happy
like-
regardless.
He's like, just tell me who I'm fighting, where I'm fighting, and I'm there.
That's it.
I remember that shit reminded me, like, one time, I think for his last fight, Virgil posted, like, a promo for his fight, right? And then somebody actually commented, hey, bro, are you going to be there? I guess he thought, like, there was somebody else's fight. He's like, I might come. But people sometimes, like, the comments on Instagram, like, drive me nuts. Today, sorry if I'm, like, prolonging this. Today I saw when Errol Spence posted that was actually going to be the fight in Dallas and actually open to the public. Somebody actually commented and I screenshotted it because I just could not fucking believe it. somebody commented, "And who are you fighting? Another tomato can?" I'm like, okay. I get like maybe you don't think like Danny Garcia's in his caliber, maybe, right? But why would you say who are you fighting? Like you obviously don't follow boxing if you don't know who Danny Garcia is.
Yeah.
A former but I'm like the audacity of people to like comment these things. Like my advice to everyone watching, Google your shit before like commenting something, please. Like just do a quick Google search, like 2 seconds. If you're like just voice, ask Siri, ask Alexa before commenting something, making yourself look fucking dumb.
Casuals make the sport, but I feel like there should be a rule like if you have 3
Stay
or
in your
4
lane.
shots, like in your casual, you shouldn't like be allowed to text
Or like 3 fights a year should be your minimum to comment.
to comment,
Stay
yeah.
on your
And then like that's it.
Or they can comment on like the action, but like opponents,
The
what,
outfits, all that's cute pink shorts.
The Charlos, the little outfit.
I like the lion
Yeah.
thing.
You get like 8 comments a year.
Like,
That's
oh,
it.
who did you think was more aggressive? Who do you think? Stuff like that. But like,
How do you think he'll do against Mayweather, even though he's like 3 divisions higher?
I see that shit on Facebook
Oh
all the
my
time.
God.
Oh, Canelo straight up ducking Usyk. I'm like, what, bro? What? Same with Virgil. They tell him, why don't you fight Ryan Garcia? And he's like, bro, like Virgil's like not like he doesn't. He's straight up was like, bro, different weight classes. Like people just don't. They
Man.
don't know what they're doing.
All
like I
right.
fought him in the
We're about
amateurs
an
over
hour
the same
40 in. We'll
times.
let you guys go. But yeah, that should be Tuesday. It'll probably be posted later on. But yeah, I asked her. I told her we should do a podcast about you, and she's kind of like, why? Like, I'm like, people need to hear your story.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, can I bring Andy? I'm like,
No,
I told her,
dude,
yeah,
there's-
just because she's like, I'm gonna feel more comfortable with him there, like, because you guys did a great interview.
Yeah, that should
time.
be up tomorrow.
It
By
was
the
like
way,
40 minutes long, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I've
it was
been
good though.
breaking
It was
it up,
good.
yeah.
It was good.
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah,
She
but-
needs to learn to be on her own. She's gonna have to do interviews eventually by herself, so she needs to get comfortable
Yeah.
on her own.
Yeah, but that should be coming soon next week. Anything else? What else we need to plug? Make sure to check out ChicanaBoxing.com, all that good stuff. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube video. Almost at 1,000. Man, put a lot of hours into this, so help us get to 1,000. That's the
subscribe,
first
y'all.
goal.
Tell your homies.
Yeah, tell them, make a fake account. It's all good. Bro, make 3 Gmails and then subscribe, man. Help us get there. And let's see. Yeah, I haven't posted the podcast on Apple or Spotify because they don't pay. And also because I only have 2 hands, right? I'm trying to push YouTube. That's a focus right now. So I'm not really posting it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. So you guys probably won't see the podcast on there for a while. So check it out on here on YouTube. Subscribe, man. Help us get there. Next
Always
Tuesday,
subscribe, yeah,
Coach
subscribe.
G. And then the Murataya brothers too. We had to postpone that one. That was like a couple weeks ago. That should be coming up. I believe the 20th. We're gonna go pay them a visit. Raymond Murataya and Gabriel Murataya, the brothers. So, of course, yeah, we're going to Riverside. Yeah, we can talk about it later. Man, we're giving us a sneak peek. See?
For real.
Y'all being nosy over there.
And Raymond was preparing
Salcedo, right?
Yeah,
He was doing some sparring with Salcedo. So that podcast should be coming soon. We didn't forget about you guys. I know Gabriel was like, hey, when's the next interview?
Yo, go.
And
What's up?
I told them we're back in business, all right? So let's go. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. I'm trying to be more active on there. I'm trying to post more clips and links to all this stuff. So follow us on there, but mostly on Instagram. That's where I post all the good stuff or all the newest stuff, all the news and the clips and all that. And yeah, man, big shout out to Coach G, Andy Aguilar. I've been hanging out with them lately. We're going to be getting more footage, so stay tuned to that.
That's it. Thank you for supporting. Thanks for tuning in. And man, it's gonna be a good month of boxing. This one, next one, December 5th. It's gonna be a big one. We might be out there most likely, right, Lily? So
Yeah. Well, I got my flight already.
she got her flight. Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be a good closing of the year for boxing. I'm excited.
Yeah, and also exclusive. Right Hook Roxy's gonna have her YouTube channel as well. All right, so look out for that. And I'm trying to convince Andy to do his too, because I know
He
he has a
to.
lot of
He
great
has to.
content.
Has to.
Um,
And that's so big. Like the fitness community could be so easily monetized on Instagram, but we can talk about this after. Like,
yeah, because like I told Chris, I see people like taking his live videos and putting them on YouTube,
yeah, fuck
and
that.
now they get the likes and subscribes and
Fuck
money
all
for
that,
it.
no.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna talk to him tomorrow probably and try to convince him to do that. I can help
has
him
to,
out.
yeah.
And he
Andy-
also has his talk series. So
Andy's the nicest guy, and he'll do stuff like that. Not other people won't do, but like he's gotta
Gotta
get paid,
monetize it,
man.
yeah.
He's gotta get paid. He's the one of the best, if not the best, at what he does, and he's just a cool dude. And yeah, dude, he has to get paid.
Yeah, I'll make sure to help him out with that. I'm be like, yo, I'm gonna make this YouTube channel for you, and give me videos. I'll post them up. But yeah, I think that's it for us, folks. Thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to Sean. Shout out to Derek. Shout out to all you guys who tuned in, and we'll be back soon, man. Thank you, Lily, for being here with us.
Always.
And shout out to Long Live Boxing.
Yes.
Yes, sir. We'll be back soon. Thank you, guys.
Michael, you already know I said I'm a fun guy.
Hola amigos, soy Juan Pastor Gallo. Quiero mandar un saludo para mis amigos de Contra las Cuerdas, que echenle muchas ganas. Un abrazo, muchas bendiciones.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. You know what mine is? Let's box, bitches. It's almost fight night.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you for the support. Keep doing your thing. You're doing a great job. So thank you and best wishes.
Huge shout out to Against the Ropes. Against the Ropes.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you guys for the interview and hope to see you guys soon.
Against the ropes, always doing the right thing.
Shout out to Against the Ropes, man. I appreciate you guys for having me, taking the time out y'all day.
Against the Ropes, #1.